We'll have the invocation by yours truly and the pledge of allegiance to the flag. So when you bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you and praise you for your goodness to us. Inspire us to resolve the issues we face today. Give us knowledge and strength to do your will. Give us insight into the work at hand, that we may further your causes and benefit many people. May we accept our responsibilities and act with courage while considering the feeling of others. Grant us tolerance to listen to reports and issues and act accordingly to consider decisions which keep us moving forward. Help us to support one another for a common goal. We pray in your name. Amen. 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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, tonight we have some special recognition. Who will call their names? You call?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Good evening. The special recognition portion of the board meeting tonight is set aside to highlight students who have earned special honors above the system level. And tonight, I'm proud to say we have several students in attendance for special recognition. We will start this evening with our recent winners from the Regional Literacy Days Poetry Recitation Contest, Ready Writing, and Drama Competition held at Griffin-Risa. Our students competed against students from, Butts, Fayette, Henry, Lamar, Pike, Spalding, and Upson counties, and many of them brought home first, second, or third place awards. First, we'll recognize our recitation contest winners. At the elementary school level, Morgan Hathorne earned second place honors in the third grade competition with her recitation of the poem, The Day Everything Went Wrong. Come on up, Morgan. Mr. Johnson will give you your certificate. Congratulations. Morgan attends the theme school next door. Will Morgan's parents please stand if you're present? Let's give them a round of applause. Congratulations, Morgan. I love your poem, The Day Everything Went Wrong. I've had days like that, Morgan. Just want to let you know. Next, I'd like to ask Allie Hay to come forward. Allie won third place in the fourth grade competition with her performance of Shel Silverstein's poem, The Unicorn. Allie also attends the Newton County Theme School at Thickwick. Congratulations, Allie. I see Allie's mom, Lucy, in the audience. Lucy, would you please stand? Please stand, Mom. Congratulations. Dad couldn't make it, I presume. All right. Our next recipient of recognition tonight is not here, but I want to mention her nonetheless. That would be Molly Graham, who won second place in the sixth grade poetry recitation contest for her rendition of the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. And Molly, she deserves your round of applause for sure. And Molly attends the Newton County Theme School at Thickwick next door. Now we'll recognize our Ready Writing Competition winners. In the Ready Writing Competition, students are given a writing prompt and 1 hour to complete an essay. I'd like to ask Mitchell Witcher to come forward. Mitchell? Mitchell took home the third place award in the fourth grade Ready Writing Competition. Mitchell attends the Newton County Theme School at Thickwick. Congratulations, Mitchell. Would Kellen Beasley come forward, please? Kellen won the seventh grade Ready Writing Contest. She is the winner, and she attends Veterans Memorial Middle. I'm not sure whether it's Kay or Kai. Is it Kay or Kai? Kai, would you come forward? Kai Patterson. Kai brought home the second place award in the eighth grade reading writing competition. Kai attends Liberty Middle School. The Newton County School System drama team, which hailed from Liberty Middle this year, also represented us very well in Griffin Resa recently. With the following team members come forward: Alexis Cole, Faith Bumford, Yuseli Estrada, Mariah Barnes, Taj Hairston, and Alexia Shepard. Let's give them a round of applause, please. These drama team members took home the third place award in the middle grades drama contest in our region. I'm going to digress a moment because I messed up, so it's my job to fix it. Let's go back to Mitchell Witchard, who won from the county theme school. Mitchell, where are you? Are your parents here? Would you have them stand? Mitchell's parents. Thank you very much. And Kellen Beasley's parents, the Beasleys, congratulations, thank you. And Kai Patterson's parents, please, would you please stand? Congratulations, thank you very much. And the parents of Alexis, Faith, Yuseli, Mariah, Taj, and Alexia, if you're here, would you please stand? Thank you very much for giving us great kids. Oh, now that the superintendent's back on track, we'll continue. Finally tonight, we have two high school students who recently earned very prestigious national recognitions. First, I'd like to call Seth Kimbrell forward. Seth, come forward. And this is truly outstanding, young people who are in the audience, and I want you to listen to the following, please. Seth has been named a National Merit Scholarship semifinalist, one of only approximately 15,000 high school students in the United States. He is now in the running for one of the 8,300 National Merit Scholarships that will be awarded in this, the 57th year of the National Merit Scholarship Program. In order to participate in the National Merit Scholarship Program, students must take the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test and meet other program requirements. Seth was named a semifinalist in the program in late 2011. In order to become a finalist, semifinalists must have attained an outstanding academic record throughout high school, be endorsed and recommended by the high school principal, in this case Mr. Roddenberry at Eastside, and earn SAT scores that confirm the student's earlier performance on the qualifying test. The semifinalist and high school official then had to submit a detailed scholarship application along with the student's essay information about the semifinalist's participation in leadership in school and community activities. In addition to attending Eastside, Seth also attends Georgia Perimeter College as part of the dual enrollment program, where he is currently enrolled in English, psychology, and geology. Combined with his two advanced placement classes at Eastside, Economics and Latin 5, Seth has a very full plate. Even so, he still finds time to participate in extracurricular activities such as cross-country, the academic team, junior classical, and Latin 5. He has already been accepted to Georgia Tech. However, his first choice is a little school known as Yale, where he is currently on deferment. He has also applied to Dartmouth, Harvard, Princeton, Vanderbilt, and the University of Georgia. Congratulations, Seth. Now another very special recognition. Although he couldn't be here tonight due to a prior commitment, we'd like to recognize Eastside junior Bryant Johnson. But before we move on, I'd like to recognize Seth's parents. Kimbrells, would you please stand? Congratulations. Now back to Bryant Johnson, who's been recognized for superior academic achievement and been selected for membership into the National Society of High School Scholars. NSHSS is an honor society that recognizes top academic achievers from high schools around the world. The mission of the society is to recognize academic excellence among high school students and to encourage members to apply their unique talents, vision, potential for the betterment of themselves and the world at large. NSHSS is not simply a recognition program. Rather, it is an association designed to connect young scholars such as Bryant with each other and to provide additional resources to help them succeed in scholarship, leadership, and service. Membership is by nomination only, and in order to qualify, students must meet one of the following very high criteria standards: a 1750 or higher on the SAT, a 200 PSAT score or higher, 26 plus on the ACT, a score of 4 or higher on any AP exam, a 3.5 cumulative average or higher, and top 10% rank in class. Bryant Johnson qualified in not one but 2 categories. He has a GPA of 4.0 and is also ranked in the top 10% of his class. In addition to his excellent academic record, Johnson, a junior, is also extremely busy with extracurricular activities. He participates in varsity football, mock trial, Beta Club, Leadership Council football, the National Honor Society, Student Advisory Council, and student government. A round of applause for Bryant Johnson. Okay, I'll go back. Are the Johnsons in the audience by chance? The parents are not here. Okay. Who just came in? I'm looking for it.
It's under the drama.
If you see it, let me know. I'm still looking. Taj, where are you? Taj Harrison, would you please stand up, Taj? Come on, come forward. Let Mr. Johnson congratulate you. Let us applaud you for your work. She's a member of the award-winning Liberty Middle Drama Team. Congratulations to all of our students. You make us very, very proud. And thank you, parents. Thank you very much, parents. Just keep it.
Now we'll move on to our public participation. Now, Ms. Baker, would you read the requirements,
Certainly.
please?
Public participation is the time that the board has set aside to encourage you as members of our community to voice your opinion on any matter, either included on or excluded from the printed agenda. A maximum time of 5 minutes will be allotted to a single individual or a single topic based on a number of requests. Complaints against any employee of the school system will not be heard unless the complaint has been submitted in writing to the superintendent at least 7 days prior to the board meeting. If unresolved, any personal complaints about school personnel must be put in writing for the board to review in executive session. Personal attacks against any member of the board will not be tolerated. Once the time for public participation has passed, discussion of topics will be restricted to board members only. Thank you in advance for complying with this request. Have one, Mr. Carver.
Mr. Carver?
Coach Carver.
Thank you. Good evening. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak on this. After seeing the draft that's being presented to you tonight to vote on, most of the concerns that I had have been addressed. So I want to move on to just 2 quick things. In finalizing the calendar, I wish that you would consider the date that is set up for our parent conferences on February the 15th. That is prior to a break, and I know that this year we did this, and we have had some concerns of parents have prior commitments to leaving to go out of town without prior knowledge of knowing about this. I'm not saying that prior knowledge wasn't given. However, many of them chose not to come to conferences as a result. So I don't know that it's in our best interest to have a parent conference scheduled on the same day that the kids are, or the students, I should say, not kids, students are being released for a winter break. So I just wanted to address that. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will go into the regular board meeting. Many of you may not be interested in the subjects that we'll cover, so this is a good opportunity to exit if you so choose.
That was nice of you.
Well, I'm trying.
You are doing good. We may not be used to that.
Get Coach Carver like
Eddie, Eddie, can I ask something about what he said, or is it past?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Can we do it now?
That makes
Ms.
sense.
Meadows?
Regarding, is it Carter or Carver? Okay, I'm forgetting the email. I thought the email was Carter. I'm sorry. Is that request? I know we're doing that same thing this week. Is that request a hard one to move around? Who does the calendar? I mean,
Sheila Thomas chaired the committee. I don't see Sheila in the audience.
We were both of them.
And both Sam and
We
Ken.
have committee members that participated from every school.
mm-hmm.
They all had input in choosing the dates, and none of them had any issue with that at the time.
Jeff, if it helps you any, speaking from my experience, I know the teachers a lot of times will do conferences not on that afternoon. That, like, I've already had all my conferences 2 weeks ago, so they got them in and out before then. So if, you know, there is a possibility of them going out of town, I think, you know, other arrangements can be made, and the teachers are willing to do that. So, but I definitely understand that point because it's very valid.
Mr. Carver, you had, so the December issue's been resolved?
As far as I'm concerned.
Okay, okay.
That, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. That does make sense, though, that, I mean, if it is an early release day and winter break is coming, and I understand that the teachers,
They
we
have
can't
the
say
rights-
all
of-
teachers.
No, I can't say all of them, but I know in my instance,
Yeah, so we have a few teachers that will move things around. But that makes a lot of sense for it not to be placed a week before or that Friday before the winter break. So I'm going with Jeff. Would that be a big issue to move that? No?
Any other members have a preference on that date?
No, I don't see where, if it's not a big issue, it can be moved. I
Yeah,
agree that
just move it.
it
Well,
might be better.
I guess my only argument would be, and I don't want to, Ken, I don't want to sabotage all your work. I know you did extensive work, you and Sam, but if the purpose is for parents to come in and have early release conferences, but in some cases, maybe it varies by school, it's not working, it would make sense to maybe, think more about it. I'm just thinking out loud.
There's no way in the elementary schools that they can meet with all their parents
Mhm.
on one day anyway. So as
Right.
Abigail said,
Sure.
Ms. Coggins said, they really designate this entire week to parent conferences. So that they don't try to do them all on that one early release day. It just won't work. I don't see a problem at all with moving it to Thursday. And
How
that's-
would teachers respond? You already know.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe you were.
What?
We did
I
have a
thought that.
committee who chose this day. So I guess we could go back to the committee, but that wouldn't change your action tonight, I don't think.
Because we would just choose to go with this calendar with the exception of moving that one date. or possibility of moving
Or
them.
you
That's
just-
what you're telling us to do, yes.
Well, and it may not be the right thing for you to do. You might come back and say it's just not the right thing. Maybe we'll look at fiscal 14. Is that the next one? Yeah. But that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Meadows. Now, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion carries. Now, the superintendent's report. Dr. Matthews.
Dr. Carpenter, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chairman Johnson, board members, we'll begin with our financial report. As of January 31st, 2012, we've completed 58.33% of our fiscal year. Our total revenues, if you take a look there, are at 69.21%, and total expenditures are at 58.89%. As you can see, our expenditures are a little greater than the percentage of the year complete. And most of this overage is due to our forward funding, as we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years, of our health insurance premiums. At this point, it is likely that we'll be spending very, very close to our budgeted amount this year, especially when you consider the fact that we will more than likely continue to deal with the high cost of fuel. I was just hearing that on television, that we could get up in late spring to over $4 per gallon. So we'll be dealing with that over the course of the next few months. But I do want to bring to your attention a bit of good news, team board members. I'd like to bring your attention to our local ad valorem taxes and other taxes. Here you'll notice that we've collected a little over 10% more than we collected at the same time last year. Therefore, it is likely that we'll collect better than we had budgeted in that category, so that looks good. As always, we're spending in what I like to call emergency mode, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our building principals and program leaders who have supported such a course of action. If there are no questions, we'll move on to our operations report. SPLOST news, we've had our largest collection of any month of SPLOST 3, $1,009,817. And that's an increase of $192,742 over November's collection. Total SPLOST 3 revenue for the first 24 months, approximately $20,400,176, and that's averaging $850,007 per month. In comparison, SPLOST 2 for the entire 60 months averaged $830,490, so we're doing a little bit better there. In maintenance, you'll look, we're still in the trailer disposal business, or portable classroom disposal business. An additional 11 trailers have been released to the purchasing department to be advertised on Gov Deals, and the remaining 5 trailers will be released by the end of this month. We all know about the revised schedule at Newton College and Career Academy, and we're pleased to report as of today that that project is up to date and on schedule with our revised project schedule. Newton High School, we're excited about what's going on out there. You'll see a little bit more in terms of page 2, and you'll see the walls are going up, even exterior walls, as it relates to our precast concrete project. That's one of the first, or the first, not one of the first we've had in our district. Again, if board members would like to see what's going on out there, give me a call and I'll be glad to set up a time that we might go out and take a look. Pretty interesting to look at. And last week, they reported the project being a little over a week ahead of schedule. Very impressed with McKnight and the work they're doing out there. Student transportation, the average cost of diesel fuel purchased during January, $3.28. Fuel was last purchased in December for $3.10. And again, that's climbing almost every day. School nutrition, we just want to take a look at our Meal Pay Plus revenues through January 12th. $368,275.41, and that was $43,341.15 more than the same period last year. Again, that's an awesome, awesome program. And that concludes our operations report, unless you have any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the trailers, do we have a count of how many we sold, or have we sold any?
Yes, we have. Corey, do you have that on?
I believe we've got 40 that have been sold, 33 have been sold and moved.
Okay.
And I think that 33, if I'm not mistaken, Corey, includes sales and those that we've given away or given to another entity.
No, it's the ones that we've given to other agencies are in addition to that.
Okay, good.
We've got only 5 trailers that we have yet to take action on, as far as cleaning them out, getting them ready to be put on and stuff.
Okay.
And they're averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000 to $4,000
That
per
was gonna be my
sale.
next question.
Usually right around there.
$3,000 to $4,000 per sale.
Okay.
And that's going back in our other local revenue in our general fund.
It's going back in the general fund?
Yes, and other local revenue, as does everything that's sold on Gov Deals.
Okay, perfect.
Well, comment, I guess I refer this one to you, Dr. Mathis, if Dr. Carpenter can. Where are we on our communication room?
I can't. I will tell you that we're still working on the Career Academy itself, and I do not know where we are in the communications room.
Okay, thank you.
Do you mean the technology room? Is that?
Right.
We have,
Do- do-
I will tell you what has occurred in terms of the architect. We got our architect looking at drawing now a more detailed plan. That's going on, but again, that plan can't be released for anything until the Career Academy is completely permitted.
I will say, I will comment on the Career Academy. I had the opportunity to go out there with Mr. Woodard. He did a tour for the teachers so that they could see their classroom. And although it's not finished, and I know we want it to be finished, it looks very nice. It is going to be a great building. And so that was my first time actually making a visual connection with the drawings that we have saw. So it was, you know, it was really, really nice.
I make no
Very
excuses.
impressed.
Yeah, I make no excuses for the contractors, but it's like nothing that we've built in this school system before. And I think it's gonna be something that we all can be proud of.
Yeah.
Do they understand, or, and if I'm speaking out of turn, just tell me, but I would like for us not to use them again, ever.
We've had some very detailed conversations that center on a little bit of that.
For, you know,
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Carpenter. Well, while you're standing,
Yes,
I
sir.
noticed, Ombudsman,
Yes, sir.
they had, excuse me, open house, their parent participation day. And I attended this afternoon out there, and I am very impressed with what I see. And the feedback that I'm getting back, the surprised feeling of the parents, you can tell that they didn't know what we were going into, but after, you know, talking to them, the ones that I've talked to, they are very pleased. And I think as a board, we should be proud of the movement that we made with this project. Still got a way to go.
Yes.
But the indicators, from my personal view, I think we got something to be proud of. And the staff there is just remarkable in that regard. So I want to pass that on. Not too often that we do things and we get a positive report, but I'm very pleased.
Yeah, Mr. Barr and myself last week went out and spent about 45 minutes, and we actually talked to a couple of sets of parents during the exchange, and everybody's saying thank you for what they got. And a lot of it is appearance. A lot of it is appearance, and I think that's very, very important.
Another thing that I would like for us to follow up on, and I don't know to what degree we're in it, when we were discussing all the ranges of things that could be done, is one with the previous dropouts. Now, I personally didn't want to get into this one until we got into a permanent building, but we're there now, and I think we should be going back over and finding those students who have failed to come up and recruit.
And we have begun that process, and we are identifying students who have previously dropped out and encouraging them to enroll in the Ombudsman program, and we've been pretty successful so far. So, especially those students who are recent dropouts, we've been able to find them and get them enrolled.
Well, I tell you, we got to have more Valentine days than this, I'm telling you. We got to have at least 2 or 3 because that is good news, and I appreciate that that effort.
I'll tell you one other thing that would
Go right ahead.
be good, just for information purposes. We're also exploring the opportunity to use our slots to identify overage middle school students to try to catch them up so that they, at some point, can enroll in their respective high schools at grade level. So we're identifying kids who are going to be too old in the middle school and setting up programs of study for them using the Ombudsman slots that are not used through the hearing process. So that work is underway as well. We sort of wanted to wait until they got into their spot, and now that they're there, we're on our way.
as Sam Cooke say, man, ain't that good news?
I think I have one question for Dr. Carpenter and one for maybe Sam. One, when I went in today, it was about 5 before 11, so that first high school group, the buses were coming this way. Several of us were going that way. Is there only one in and out?
Yes.
Okay. I know that's probably twice a day, those transitions. Is there any plan to do is there any plan to make that a more?
Not without land acquisition, there is no plan.
Yeah.
Well, I talked with one of the staff there, and what they relayed to me was the fact that they're in the process of recruiting an officer to work, so which will eliminate that because he or she will have the authority to actually stop traffic while buses entering and coming out of the facilities. Having said that, like I said, I talked with several students over there, and this one particular student I talked with had gotten in trouble for fighting, and they made the comment that they did something stupid. And at the same time they were talking to me, they were on their computer doing a book assignment. And I asked them, I said, what are you doing and on your computer now? And she said, well, sir, I'm doing a book report. And she wants to be a nurse. And she went to tell me about her brothers and sisters. They were in the medical field as well. And another student that she said she was glad she was there because it got her away from some of the students that was a distraction to her. I talked to another kid who didn't like being over there because he said it was boring. But then I asked him, how was his grades? And he said, better. So we've got a lot of positive responses from the students there. So I think we're doing a good thing. That negative image that has been put on the kids who attend there, although they have violated policies, but I think it's something that's in place to get them back on the right track.
My other question, maybe Sam, or maybe anybody, during the time I was there, I talked with every student, and one question I asked was, from what school did they come to end up here? And on 3, I had some answers that raised a concern for me about maybe residency. When they come through intake, do they go through student services here with Renee, every one of them?
Yeah, we have an intake process, and Renee and Kim Reed work on the intake process. Whether or not they verify residency, though, I'm not sure if that's part of it. I think the presumption is that if they're coming from a base school, that the residency works, so they may need to look closer.
They weren't able to identify their base school.
They may have come from some other place than a base
suspended
school.
when they came.
And so their point of entry is the ombudsman program before they can ever get into a base school. So the residency through we also have a placement committee. And so there are multiple ways to enter into the ombudsman program, not just through the hearing process. So they may not know their base school because they haven't ever attended their base school, not yet.
Okay, so if a student, for example, would respond to my question that I'm from Clayton County, could it possibly be, because I asked, but you live in Covington, and no, I don't.
In DFACS custody, and if they're in DFACS custody, they have a DFACS placement in Newton County, but their original house of residency is in Clayton. There's just multiple layers of things that we have to go through in order to confirm residency. But when you've got kids coming from DJJ and DFACS custody and from a residential placement, they all come through a verification process here, and then every Friday morning.
With Renee, is that the
Yes.
central point?
Yes, Renee, and then we have a placement committee that's comprised of Dr. West, Mr. Berry, Dr. Proctor, me, Christina Sneed, Ed Vrabel, and all the documents come in and we review them, and then we just determine placement from there.
So although currently there are 65 seats, let's say we were maxed 200, I would not worry that someone who was not supposed to be there is taking a seat from a student who's who is here in the county. In those
We
situations,
have to take those kids anyway.
I understand.
They are placed in Newton
do
County.
we, on those DFAC situations, do we earn FTE on those? Okay.
I have a question, almost related to that, and I understand what you're saying, Ms. Fury, because it was 2 students that came from Florida, but they were in an alternative setting in Florida. So of course, they would go to alternative setting before they could go into the regular school. But then there was a student that was a homeschool student,
Right.
but they had been in the school system before. And I know part of our contract, it allowed students that were not presently in the school system, like dropout students, to be able to go to Ombudsman and receive their degree or work on their degree there. But what if a student is coming from a private school? Do they have to have any point of entry in the Newton County school system? Because my concern is, there was one
There was
student
one.
that came from, that I asked, that came from a private school, and I think, Jeff, you spoke with them too. And they're over at Ombudsman, and I just want to make sure that, I don't know if we can spend our.
Well, there are lots of intricacies involved in all of those situations, and the fact that the students said they came from a private school, I don't know the specific case, so I'd have to know who the student is, and then we would have to go back and look. But we're not giving our Ombudsman spaces to
those
students
students.
who are not our students and who are not enrolled in
Okay.
our school.
Well,
And that's what I want
helps
to make
me
sure.
because that helps me because the reason I'm asking here is because I did not really get a straight answer there,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. And I probably won't be invited back to open house. However, I think I need to know these things.
Yeah, absolutely. But we enroll the students in the school system first, and then
Okay,
we place
and
them.
that was not immediately made clear.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure they went through here somewhere. Okay.
But Ombudsman, do you guys know if they take a student in that situation,
They come through us first. They don't enroll students
And-
over there. They have to come to us first.
Period.
And then we make the decision on what happens with those students. You can't just walk into Ombudsman and say, hey, I want to join. They would have to come to us first and enroll and provide residency documentation, all the other paperwork that we would need to enroll anybody.
okay.
Thank you, Dr. Carpenter. Dr. Mathis, and with the board's consent, I guess, I would like to see some positive PR on our Ombudsman effort here. We're in our new location now. We should have a lot of pictures and advocating what Ms. Fury is doing, getting the dropouts, and put that in the paper, put it on the website. I'm sorry?
Michelle said she's gonna work on it.
Well, I tell you, we got to have more than one Valentine's Day. That's 2 tonight.
What did you say? You already wrote one? Oh.
Oh, they wouldn't let you take pictures.
Oh, they wouldn't?
Okay. Well, thanks for the effort, and
Oh, that's interesting.
put on a positive spin. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on. Curriculum and instruction, Dr. Proctor.
Good evening. Under research-based instructional strategies and building background knowledge, a few things to highlight this month. Although it's not necessarily an instructional strategy, it certainly enables our teachers to employ instructional strategies once we get students' behavior under control. So we are very excited next year about the implementation of the positive behavioral interventions and support program. We are currently meeting and planning and organizing that. We have a couple of schools that already have this program. They've seen some great success. Next year, we're putting it in all 5 of our middle schools, plus Newton High School. So our next planning meeting for that is actually this coming Friday, and that basically is coming through our special education department, helping us to get that implemented. So we're very excited about that. Our after-school program continues to build background knowledge for students by, as you can see in number 2 here, providing after-school field trips for students. They've participated in many of those over the month of January, including the Martin Luther King Center, the Fernbank, Atlanta Symphony, bowling, Stone Mountain. So our students are getting background knowledge in the metro area about things that they're studying in school through the after-school program. Instructional coaches in elementary and secondary education are working very diligently to prepare our teachers for next fall when we implement the Common Core Georgia Performance Standards. Teachers are receiving small group professional learning on the major differences between the current curriculum and what we're implementing newly in 2012 fall, which would be the Common Core Standards for English Language Arts and Mathematics. Under technology integration, Mr. File continues to be a shining star in our school district. He recently presented at Griffin RESA. He did an instructional session there on mobile devices and iPads, iPods, and tablets, classroom technology, interactive whiteboards, etc. And the kinds of things he did and went and demonstrated there at Griffin RESA, he's consistently doing in our schools. So we're very excited about that. Mr. File is a great asset to us. Over on page 2, we talk about support activities. I wanted to keep you informed of the FitnessGram program that is being implemented in our schools currently. That was a legislative passage a couple of years ago that all of our students in grades 1 through 12 who take a physical education class would be tested on their fitness yearly. You see those links there, Georgia Shape, and then of course the program being launched by Governor Nathan Deal back in last May. Kathy Garber has been working with our PE teachers here. She's agreed to help Mrs. Fury and me get this going in our school system. We're very grateful for that. We've already talked about Ombudsman moving to the new site, so we are very pleased with that building. Ms. Fury and I visited there about 2 weeks ago in the middle of the day, talked to the directors. The new director for the west side had just come on board that very day. So we had an opportunity to talk with them, and like you, Chairman Johnson, are very excited about what we saw there being implemented. Newton County Schools every year undergoes an audit of our immunization programs here in the district, and to make sure that all of our students, through the health department and our local nurses, our school nurses, have all the immunizations in place that they need. And we're very happy to report that 100% of our students have been appropriately immunized according to the audit that was conducted. We are also very grateful for our school nurses. The health department continually praises the cooperation that they have with our school nurses, so we're very pleased with that. I don't think our school nurses get enough accolades, but they work so hard. Some of them are only part-time in schools, and they're shared among buildings, and that really is a difficult job for which we're very grateful that they do on a daily basis. Our schools continue to be recognized for their progress. In number 5, you see that 5 of our schools were recognized as Title I Distinguished Schools for making AYP over the last 3 or more consecutive years. Liberty Middle School was recognized by the Governor's Office of Student Achievement as being in the top % of schools in the state with the greatest improvement on the CRCT. Very grateful about that. I'm sure you read in Ms. Vineyard's press releases about Herd Mixon being recognized as a Georgia School of Excellence in Student Achievement. It's one of 26 schools that have shown the greatest improvement or the highest achievement across the state. And for that, they actually are receiving a monetary award from Georgia Natural Gas. We're very proud of them. Another monetary award through the form of a grant in number 11 coming to our school districts from the Lowe's Charitable and Educational Foundation was awarded to Fairview Elementary School to purchase library books and needed supplies to enrich their school-wide Just Read program. And then over on page 3, You can see and read there about how we continue to prepare our students through the Georgia Work Ready program and the assessments that are given to those students. You can see the awards there, bronze certificates, silver, gold, etc. We're very, very excited about that. The Newton College and Career Academy is gearing up for their opening. Like you, Ms. Baker, Ms. Fury, and I, with Mr. Woodard, took a tour of that recently, and it is an exciting place to be. Mr. Woodard is working very diligently to be ready for not only the remainder of this school year once they move there, but when we open fully in the fall of 2012, preparing students who are interested to move into that. Multiple strategies are being implemented to inform students and parents about the opening. And then he has also produced some resources such as a trifold brochure, posters, and then of course you've seen the pathway rack cards, etc. That concludes the C&I report. Chairman Johnson, if there are any questions.
Board members? Okay, enrollment?
Yes, sir. Our enrollment as of February 9th was 19,100 students. Last year, during this same time period, it was 19,200 students. So we're down 100 students from this same time last year.
Any questions, comments, board members? Thank you very much, Dr. Proctor. No old business now. We'll go into the new business. Item A, Dr. Carpenter. A, B, and C. Dr. Carpenter.
Yes, sir. In item A, the superintendent recommends the adoption of Series 2012 A bond resolution related to the issuance of tax-exempt new money bonds for the new high school and adoption of Series 2012 B bond resolution relating to the issuance of taxable bonds to advance refund the outstanding Series 2003 GO bonds for debt service savings. The board chairperson and the superintendent will need to execute the bond purchase agreement for each and Rule 15C 2-12 certificate that deems the preliminary official statement both final. Both the BPA and deemed final certificate are authorized with the board's adoption of each resolution. Mr. Holcomb will be here for our next Tuesday board meeting on the 28th. He'll price those bonds in the market on the morning of the 28th. He'll come in and tell us our exact pricing. He'll have the resolutions with that exact pricing attached, and it'll be available for the superintendent and chairman's execution.
He's the one that came in December?
Absolutely.
Okay, right.
This is based on the board's December 14th action.
Item B, if no questions.
Item B is fuel. And fuel. The superintendent recommends the annual renewable contract for diesel fuel and unleaded gasoline be awarded to Petroleum Traders Corporation of Fort Wayne, Indiana. The effective date will be February 29, 2012, with an expiration date of February 28, 2013. An invitation for bid was issued on January 19, 2012. You'll see our bids there, and the low bid for the complete range of fuel products, both diesel fuel and gasoline, went to Petroleum Traders. Estimated annual value of that contract is $1,430,620, and that's down from our previous because of some of the things we've done with three-tier transportation and also with the implementation of our fuel card system.
They sure vary, don't they?
Yes, they vary. Markup is different.
Yeah.
I was a little bit perplexed when I saw them coming in with a negative markup on unleaded gasoline. And that's because some of these outfits are larger and they have those dual trucks and they can actually charge you a little less for gasoline because the money's being made on the diesel fuel. So I didn't quite understand that when that was going on, but that's the answer to that. And if you're wondering how we can be served out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, they have trucks that go all over, and they also work with MARTA and some of the other folks who are local and close to us. Houston County government is another that they work with. Hearing no questions, we'll go on to item C.
So,
In item C, the superintendent recommends declaring the items on the attached forms as surplus equipment and no longer serviceable by our school system, and authorizing the appropriate disposal methods. You'll see items here coming from East Newton, Fairview, Hurd Mixon, Middle Ridge, Oak Hill, Porterdale, and the Maintenance Department.
No questions. We'll go to item D. Ms. Fury. Thank you, Dr. Governor.
Sir.
Good evening, Chairman Johnson and board members. The superintendent recommends approval of revisions to policy JBA. The policy can be reviewed or will be reviewed for 30 days beginning February 15th and ending March the 15th. Following the 30-day revision period, a request for action will be made at the March 20th board meeting. If you'll recall, at the December 13th meeting of the Board of Education, board policy JQKA was adopted governing foreign exchange students. And as a result, policy JBA had to be amended to reflect the changes in policy JQKA. While we were reviewing policy JBA, however, we discovered that there were things that we wanted to make sure were not conflicting with policies that had already been reviewed and revisited. So you will see that additional language and syntax in policy JBA have been updated to ensure accuracy and consistency with previous policy revisions. So that's why you'll see the change for JQKA and then multiple revisions.
Any questions?
Sam, are SLPs just rare, or do they just never leave where they are? Because statewide, there's so many openings for SLPs.
SLPs.
Well, speech language.
We're not on that.
We're not on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm on JBA enrollment.
Okay, I've been up too long.
I thought that's what you were talking
I'm
about.
sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was dual screening.
Item E, Dr.
Sorry.
West.
That's Dr. West. I'm sorry.
And now you can talk about SLPs. Yes, we have another contract here to be approved for a speech-language professional. The superintendent recommends the approval of the attached agreement between Newton County School System and Wingard Therapy Associates to provide speech-language therapy to students with disabilities in accordance with their IEPs. And as you know, we are required to provide these services for students, and we have done that both through contractual arrangements with outside agencies when we cannot find full-time SLPs to meet our needs. So the contract is attached and awaiting your approval.
I became the wrong kind of therapist.
Yes, you did.
They just never leave.
There
anymore.
actually is a shortage of SLPs.
Yeah,
There
'cause they're
has
begging
been for
them
some
statewide.
time.
So it's the right
We
field
are.
if somebody likes to do that.
And this particular contract,
You can go back to school.
I think you can go back to that. This particular contract is with an individual who is starting his own therapy group, and he's more local. Some of the groups that we contract with are even out of state, and they find people here. But this one is Todd Wingard, and he is privy to, he right now works in Clayton County, but lives in Atlanta, and he's starting his own therapy group and may be able to provide a number of local therapists for us.
Good.
This is about the average rate too, right?
Actually, it's a little lower than what
thought
we
it
have
was
paid
lower?
some other
I
agencies.
thought it looked lower than what I've seen.
Right.
Maybe I do need to look right.
I know.
You need to
It's a
go back to
lucrative
school.
field.
You're young enough.
You see the overtime rate?
Yes.
Wait, where's the overtime rate?
We don't allow overtime for contract
Good.
therapists, as you can tell.
Somebody does, though.
We
Yeah.
always put that in there, but we watch them like
Yeah.
hawks.
Any questions,
I've
any
seen
board
them in the
members?
$80 an hour before. I've seen that before.
Yes.
So this is fairly
This is
reasonable.
better.
Thank you, Kylie.
Okay?
Dr. Matthews.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, board members, this next item on the 12-13 calendar is up for your approval tonight per your request of me. Two things about it. First of all, I recommend that the board approve the attached 178-day student calendar, 184-day teacher calendar. The second comment I'd make is, given Mr. Carver's comments tonight about February the 15th, I simply would defer to Ken and Sam on that notion. It sounds like that we don't get it all done on that day anyway, and it's sort of a week lead up to that. So I'm just not hung up on that particular.
Thank you, Dr. Mathis. I don't know how to phrase this one. It's incomplete. But we'll vote on this as printed, and if there are any exceptions, then we'll list them and address it. I guess that's how we'll do it, correct? All in favor of the,
Wait.
any questions on this?
Yeah, I have a question, but you go ahead.
Is it the same one you had before?
No, this is a new question.
Oh, okay. Mr. Meadows.
Well, did you want to ask yours? You had a question.
Well, I just wanted to know how to word it. That was just my only question, because I do have.
Does this,
Well-
oh,
Well, probably, we need to get a motion first to approve this, and if
Then-
not, then we make a second motion to approve a amended calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. All in favor of item F, the calendar, but let it be known. Oh, we need a motion first. Can I have a motion, please, to approve the calendar?
I have a pre-motion question. Can I ask that?
Absolutely.
Well, what I want to ask, what this represents is, okay, it was October when we made the change? Was that on the furlough days? Does
believe so.
this bring, it was October? And where are the furlough days now? How many? I don't remember.
We just have 4. We gave them back 2.
But this would represent?
6.
Six.
Okay.
Like we did last year. And I think it was our intention was after the legislature figures out what they're doing with the health insurance
Right.
and that sort of stuff, we could go back in
Amend
March or
it.
April and add them back in if we wanted to.
Or at the end of the fiscal year, when we know
Right,
exactly
right,
where we are.
right.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion carries. Right?
We need a vote.
Okay, now we need a vote on some subsequent changes, and then who would state the
The
change?
motion carried, because she seconded, it carried, so I can't do the exception. So now we just got to vote.
Yeah, we got to vote.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, of the,
Aye.
just one? Okay, the motion failed then. Now let's restate it. Who want to restate the request?
I'll attempt. I would like to make a motion that we accept the calendar as printed with the exception of looking at the possibility of moving the 15th date. That covers it, right?
Right.
Okay.
That would not interfere with the winter break.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do I have a second on the motion?
Second.
I have a second. Ready to vote. Any questions? All in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same thing. Motion carries.
We have this administrative clarification, so we'll know what to do as an administration. First of all, this item, I can't tell you the phone calls we have on this item. Folks wanting to know, like prompto,
Right.
like last month.
We get the email.
This calendar, you see them as well. So we want to get this out there, but
Sure.
what's the board's direction on this, on the 15th date? You want us to look at another date and let you know, bring it back to you?
Yeah, see if there's a possibility of moving. And this won't interfere with anybody's vacation plans that they want to know about. So they can.
So we can post this, and
Yes.
for the 15th, we can put.
The
to be-
only thing is
be
going
determined or
to,
something.
that we're looking at is the parent-teacher conference date.
Okay.
Be
And-
another day.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
So I want to turn to Dr. Proctor and Ms. Fury then as the parties responsible for going back to the committee and getting their notion of what other day might be an alternative, given the board's direction.
Right, and if there's no alternative, then.
If there's no alternative, that'll be okay too, but we just need to go back and look
Right,
at it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the
Just
that's
wanna
why I
make sure I
said
understand what you want us to do.
And that's why I said possibility.
Yes.
See, Mr. Carver, what you started. No, sir, it's a point well
We
made.
value your participation, though.
So if I may, so to get some clarity, Dr. Proctor, to my understanding, what the board is asking is that when you all review the possibility of changing that particular date, that if there's not an option of doing that, then that would be presented back to us, and then we'll vote on the information that you all give us at that time.
Oh, yeah, because you were supposed to be approving this tonight. And you did.
We did, we approved it.
We
approved the
approved it.
calendar.
Numbers approved, we're just waiting on the 15th.
15, yes.
Right.
Is it gonna be the 15th, the 12th,
Yes.
the 14th?
Or, I mean, I guess, I
Or
mean,
not.
theoretically, it could be as it is now. I
Right.
mean, it's just what
Yeah,
y'all
and
come
so
back with.
that's why I said possibility. So
Yeah.
that way it's
That's
covered.
fine.
If
Mhm.
another day does not work, then
Right.
it's approved for the 15th.
Mr. Chairman, shall they bring that back to you on the 28th of February? Is that doable, Not doable?
Well,
It's
we
approved.
just had the
Yeah,
next
it's
couple of
approved.
days.
It
Okay.
doesn't matter.
We can go ahead. So we can go ahead now.
Yeah.
You've given us an
Just put a
authorization.
small disclaimer on the bottom about the 15th.
We'll look at it and see if we can assemble the committee again.
Okay. Dr. Carpenter.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'll ask that the board approve all personnel items as outlined on behalf of your superintendent during executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes. Motion carries. Other matters of interest to any board member? Anybody?
Yes, I'll just be 2 seconds. I think it's very important. I don't know what's going on this week at the General Assembly. I'll be down there on Thursday most of the day. But I think it's very important that folks in this room pay close attention to what legislatures locally are doing with House Resolution 1162. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, but pay close attention to what legislators are doing with House Resolution 1162. I'm impressed with the way some voted, not with others, but it's going to a second vote, it sounds like. So if it gets 2/3 in the House, then it would go to 2/3 in the Senate. If it ends up on the fall ballot, the way that every iteration of the wording I've seen will fool the voter, in my opinion, into making them think they're voting for student achievement. So I just urge folks to read it, pay attention to it, even Google a summary of it so that you have an understanding and contact those legislators that are all up for re-election this fall. Every legislator is up for re-election this fall. That's all I have to say, because we need to preserve our local dollars and control.
Thank you, Mr. Meadows. Any other comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn? Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.